Real estate is one of the simplest ways to build long-term wealth, and one of the easiest ways to get wrecked if you don't know what you're doing. So this show, it exists for one main reason: clarity. Me and Keith, we're talking deals, markets, financing, flips, all of it, but always through the lens of what's working, what isn't working, and why. I'm your host, Dayton Lindsey, and I promise you that this podcast is going to help you save time, money, and you from painful lessons. So, let's get into this. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Dayton Lindsey, here with Keith Gillispie. So, today I want to talk a little bit more about call scripts. But I do have one question about negotiation before we get into that. So, sound good?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Perfect. Where do most investors lose deals in negotiation? Like, what's the most common mistake you see over and over again that kills contracts that should have been closed?
Giving an offer. we have such a good running theme in the last couple of podcasts. Giving an offer. You didn't have a process, and so they don't trust you, and you're not believable, and they don't like you, and you haven't built any rapport, and you know nothing about them, and you're throwing out this lowball, dirty offer, at least seemingly from their perspective. And it seems like the only thing that you care about is yourself and making money.
Yeah, fair enough. I can understand that as the seller. So, if that is the one common mistake. Now, this common mistake is usually learned and perpetuated by other investors. Oh, crap. Excuse me. So, with that being said, if anyone's listened to the entirety of the podcast series so far, you know that Keith does not make offers. Not even close. Never. In fact, he's never made an offer. Well, there's kind of one half exception there. You'll have to watch that episode, though.
Yeah.
So if making offers is the one thing that kills deals, the inverse of that is not making offers. And just a quick synopsis, how do you not make an offer to close a contract?
By turning the tables and having the seller give you the number that they need.
Good. Again, we're not going to dive too much into the specifics.
Go watch the last podcast. Yeah.
We have at least 4 that are on this topic, so we will move on from that one. So, on to call scripts. What's your actual opening line on a cold call right now? Now, there is also an episode that we've done past where you've mentioned how much you dislike cold calling, but humor me a little bit, and what is the one that doesn't sound like every other investor calling that seller that week?
Cool. So a little bit of framing really quickly. When I'm cold calling right now, it can't really even be called cold calling. Because a cold call, how I define a cold call, is 100% outbound marketing to somebody who potentially doesn't even own a house, and even if they do own the house, they definitely don't have any intention of selling it. It's an unwanted call. They are not desirous of this conversation. So this is for a lot of people who are doing outbound calls. They're going to like List Source or Real Flow or Batch or Deal Machine, right? You're pulling a list. You're trying to find a high equity absentee owner that has a mortgage of 4.5% or below or something like this, and you are seeking them out. They literally might not even own the home. I can't even tell you how many times I have called somebody and they're like, dude, I rent. Like, you're just get off the phone. This is not at all what we're looking for. And a lot of times you will get, if you have a good list and you have a good skip tracing service, then you are going to get that person on the phone. And there's a high probability actually that they are in a state of distress and maybe you can help them. But they don't want it. Maybe they're trying to exhaust all their options before they sell their house. So I don't like this, okay? I don't like talking to people who don't actually even want to sell their house. I don't like talking to people who don't want to talk to me. And so when I'm calling these days, we have a software, it's called Deal Labs. And basically what it does is a 4-step process. 3 of the 4 steps are automated. So we scrape, enrich, analyze, and pitch. We scrape listings. So people who have their house listed somewhere on the interwebs, whether it's Craigslist or a Facebook group or the MLS or for sale by owner or well, I'm kind of drawing a blank. There's at least one more. Anyway, they have a house and they want to sell it. So when I call them, I know, hey, this is the owner of the house and they want to sell their house. They are desiring this conversation by default because I am looking for a house to buy and they're looking to sell their house. So that's step 1. We're scraping. I'm just going to do a quick pitch on Deal Labs and then I'll get into answering your question. So we scrape and then we enrich. So I have all these different data brokers where we're enriching, we're determining what the ARV is, we're determining what the repairs are, we're making sure that we know what the rental amount is so that you can analyze it as a rental if you're a buy and hold investor, so on and so forth. So whether you're a fix and flipper or you're a wholesaler or you're a BRRRR or you're even interested in notes, like Deal Labs analyzes it every which way. But before we can analyze it, we have to enrich. We have to get all the data. So we're buying data from all these different brokers, making sure that we've got all the pieces of the puzzle. That's step 2. Then we get into the deal analysis. And like I mentioned, we're looking at it from a whole bunch of different lenses, both with acquisition as well as disposition. And then we score them. We order them from highest to lowest. That way, you're not spending a stupid amount of time calling people that either, a lot of times you're calling folks and the numbers don't even work. Like, you're not even close to making it a deal. And potentially they're not even motivated. So I've made Deal Labs so efficient for you that it literally puts the highest scoring properties, and we look at things based off deal economics, motivation, urgency, and distress. So I'll just one sentence for each of those. Deal economics is we're looking at the numbers of the deal and saying, does this make sense? The more money I make, the more it makes sense. The less money I make or lose, the less it makes sense. Motivation. Does this person state, like in the listing description, must sell as is or something like that? That is indicative of motivation. Next is urgency. If you've had 5 price cuts over the last 59 days and they've lowered from $142,000 to $89,000 and they've slashed $52,000 off the price, chances are they're pretty stinking urgent to get this thing off. I don't want this house anymore. And then lastly is distress. So we're looking at pictures of the house, we're looking at the listing description, things like this, seeing if there's any calls for distress. And so Dayton, I just wanted to say, even though I'm cold calling these days because I'm using my own software and I'm getting deals, it's really not true cold calling. Back in the day when I was cold calling, I was buying lists and I was calling people that didn't want to hear from me. I was, I've actually told you about some of these things where I was getting these super fresh probate lists. And so Aunt Sally had just died and Like they didn't even know that Aunt Sally was dead. And here I am calling, hey, Gina, wanted to talk to you about your house at 132 Main Street. Yeah, that's not my house. That's my Aunt Sally's house. Well, your Aunt Sally's dead. Would you like to sell me the house? You know, like it was terrible, bro. I got yelled at so much. I hated it. So that's kind of where the slogan for REI Automated came in. I only want to talk to people who want to talk to me. I don't really do cold calls anymore. Even the cold calls that I do using Deal Labs are warm calls. And I keep it straight to the point. Hey, my name is Keith, calling about the listing that you have for sale at 5426 Sydney Street. I'm really not going to be doing too much negotiating. I'm not going to beat you up over price. I'm an investor. As long as the property cash flows, I can get a DSCR loan on it. I'm already pre-qualified. My lender just needs to know what it's currently rented for or what it's been rented for before. Like straight to business. This gives that person, again, following, you know, as we were talking about in our last podcast episode, following a process. Professionals follow processes. When you're out here just winging it, saying different things, like you are the variable. You ever heard the term results may vary?
Yes, I have.
Your results may vary if your script varies. Like if you are the variable and you're doing this thing, then the next call you're doing this thing, then the next call you're doing this thing, the next call you threw all that crap out of the window and you're trying the other thing, you're the variable. You have to stick with something that's consistent. This is what works for me. Hey, Dayton, my name's Keith. Calling about the listing that you have at 56 Pagosa Springs. I'm really not going to be doing too much negotiating. I'm a real estate investor. As long as that property cash flows for me, I can get a DSCR loan on it. My lender has already pre-qualified me, and he just needs to know what it's currently rented for or what it's been rented for before. Some people, I really like this. I heard a sales call really recently, like within the last week or two. Somebody was truly cold calling, and he goes, hey, his name wasn't Keith, but I'm going to change it for me. Hey, my name's Keith. This is a cold call. This is a sales call. Are you willing to give me 30 seconds? That's how we started it. Are you willing to give me 30 seconds? Some people will call and say, and I don't like this one. That one's kind of funny. I haven't tried it, but I psychology says that it would work. It's just kind of like a state change. You know, Tony Robbins talks about a state change. Whoa. Hey, I'm cold calling you. My name is Keith. Will you give me 30 seconds of your time? Again, I don't know if it'll actually work. It's not really how I go. I'm very direct and to the point, and I do like state changes, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't vibe with that. I like to get down to business. I don't like to ask for permission for much of anything. What was the one that I didn't like? Oh, hey, Dayton, I'm calling about the house. I hate this one. There's a couple people, there's a couple like sales trainer gurus that will teach this. Hey, Dayton, I'm calling about the house. You know what? Do that. I dare you. You're always going to get like, what house, retard? Like, what?
You said the R word.
I've got 49 rentals. Which house are you talking about? The one that I have for sale, the ones that I have listed, whatever. You know, like, some people may say, okay.
Yep.
You're calling about the house. You know, it's like, this is going nowhere fast. I just like to get straight down and dirty to business. Calling about the house. You have listed at 123 Main Street. Already pre-qualified. My lender just needs to know what it rents for. That's what I like. I like being very direct. Oh, and a little bit of rationale behind this is some of the times I don't have any intentions at all in renting that house. Some of the times I would actually prefer to fix and flip. I'm not going to say that. Because if I can negotiate low enough that it works as a cash flowing unit, now I have options. No. If it works as a rental, it will work as a fix and flip. If it works as a rental, it'll work as a fix and flip. So, and if it works as a rental, I could also wholesale it. Not only could I wholesale it to a fix and flipper, a cash buyer, but I could also wholesale it to a landlord.
That's
We
true.
have options. And if I can wholesale it, and I could rent it, and I can fix and flip it, that also means, typically, as long as it's in good condition, in financeable condition, that I could do a novation. I could do a lease option. And I could do a wrap. Right? We have options. And so if I go in with I'm buying a cash flowing unit, I'm already pre-qualified. As long as the cash flows, I can get a DSCR loan on it. I just need to know what is it rent for, what has it been rented for in the past. Boom. That is such an easy, direct way of getting yourself into the deal. And it's safe too, because once it works for that, it opens up a whole plethora of other exit strategies.
Quick aside, if you're getting value out of this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below with what you want Keith and me to cover next. It helps the channel out a lot, and it tells us what you want to learn about. Anyways, back to the video. There's a question some investors swear by that I've seen around. What would you do with the money if you sold? Now, not what is your asking price. They say, what would you do with the money if you sold? Why is this reframe so powerful? And do you use it? Or do you not use it because you think it's weird?
So there's one word in there that NLP says is a sin, and that's the word if. What would you do with the money if you sold? And so I guess if you were asking somebody who you don't know if they're going to sell or not, then that would be applicable. However, I don't even want to be talking to that person. So I would even if I was talking to somebody who I wasn't uncertain whether or not they're going to sell, I would say when, because language, marketing, sales, it needs to be attractive or repulsive. It can't fit everybody, right? If you're the right person, you're gonna be pulled into me, and if you're the wrong person, I'm gonna push you. People either should want to turn you up or turn you off. So when I'm talking, I would definitely use the word when you sell and not if you sell. I think that there's some validity to this, and to answer your question, do I use it? Yes. Have I used it in the past? Yes. Will I use it in the future? Yes. Do I do it every time? No, I don't think that it's important 100% of the time. So it's kind of synonymous to, I don't know, squares and rectangles. Like every rectangle is a square, but a square is not a rectangle. So I'm not saying that it's bad, but should you make it a pillar? I have 6 pillars, for example, in my triage call script. There's these 6 things I'm going to ask every single time, no matter what. I have to have this information. What are you going to do with this money when you sell? That's not one of them. Now, it is very important some of the time. Like when the numbers are really tight, that's really what it comes down to. When the numbers are really tight, it is important. I'll give you one example. I was talking to a gentleman. He wanted, I don't remember the exact number. I think it was $42,500 though. It's $42,500. And that was the walkaway. So we had done all the negotiation. I probably negotiated somewhere around $100,000 down to $42,500. And he would not budge. This dude was like, that's the lowest I can go, Keith. You tell me $42,499, like $1 less. No, I'm going to talk to the next person. I cannot do it. Dayton, why do you need $42,500?
Got to pay off the loan shark somehow.
So his response was, when I sell this, I'm not going to have a place to live, but I've got my eye on a truck and a camper. I went to go see it last week, drove the truck, looked good, opened everything up in the camper, really liked it. Truck's a great deal. Camper's a great deal. Together, if I was willing to buy him as a package deal, he's even willing to drop it even further. The lowest that he would go was $42,500. It's listed right now for $55,000. Like separately, like the camper was $25,000, and the truck was $30,000 or something like this. And so the guy was willing to really, cut him a deal. And it was $42,000. This guy didn't have any money in savings. He had no credit cards, so nothing like this. So like this cash had to. He's like, at $42,500, I can't even fill up the truck. Like, that gas has to get me to where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, what's your credit score? That's what I asked him. What's your credit score? And he goes, oh, I don't care about a credit score. You know, I haven't had a loan in forever. But you have a mortgage. He had a mortgage at the time on this house.
Yeah.
So I knew he had to have a credit score. It wasn't non-existent credit. I said, have you ever had a credit card? Oh, yeah, I had a credit card, but then I went through Dave Ramsey, 5 years ago, and I've been debt-free for the last couple of years. Fantastic. You know what that tells me? His credit score is really freaking good. And I said, you know what? What if I got you that truck? And what if I got you that camper? Would you do the deal with me today? Like right now? Yeah, Keith, that's what I just told you. That's why I need $42,500. Okay, Mr. Seller, but what I'm asking is if you got the truck and the camper, but you did not get the $42,000, but you got the truck and you got the camper, would you do the deal with me today? Yes, Keith, I would. Now so then I tested this, and I remember saying, so here's the problem that I have. I want to get you what you want, but I don't want to do it how you want it. I want to get you the truck and the camper, but I don't want to do it where I'm paying for it lump sum all up front. And he goes, okay, so how much are you thinking right now? And I don't remember what the number was, but it had to be really, really, really small. Like, my cash entry to this needed to be around like $30,000. And so I was really going above and beyond with $45,000. And so I said, I think it's like $5,000 now is what we were talking about. No, heck no, I couldn't do $5,000 now. I couldn't even get the truck. I couldn't even get the camper. I would have to buy some beater, and then I'm going to be sleeping out of the car itself, right? Rather than having a camper. And so anyway, I said, yes, I understand. But what if you still got the truck and the camper? Well, Keith, I don't see how we're going to do this. And I said, it's not your, I should never have talked to him like this. I'm not saying that this is, I remember because I've actually reviewed this call. This is the call that I use to coach people. I said, it's not your job to tell me how to get you what you want. It is my job to get you what you want. Do you want the truck and the camper? Because if so, I can do it with you today. What it was is I needed to buy this house on terms. And I was willing to put $5,000 down. And I was willing to pay him $600 per month, with a total price of $42,500.
Okay.
But he needed to get a loan. He had to go down to the bank. He had to put $5,000 down. And he had to go get the loan. And my payments to him more than paid for his truck and camper. And I explained to him, this only sets you up for a little while. Because if anybody knows anything about amortization schedules, my loan to him of $42,500 is the same amount that he owes on that truck. The thing is I have a 0% interest to him, and he has like a 6% interest on this vehicle loan.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going to end up paying like way more than $42,000. He's going to end up paying like $80,000 after it's all said and done. But what I did was I alleviated all of that pressure for like 6 years or 5 years or something like that. I don't actually know. Whatever. $42,500 divided by $600. That's 70 months divided by 12 equals, yeah, it's 6 years. It's 5.9 years. I remember because I recently paid it off. So 6 years, bought him no payments whatsoever and a free place to live. And he was older, and he was just going to rove around the country, and he was on disability and Social Security. And he's like, Keith, what I can do is I can actually match these payments. Like I can pay $600 as well. And so we looked into, well, what is that going to look like? What's that going to do to your loan over the course of the 6 years? And it effectively gave him the truck for free, right? Like I paid for his truck. So this was a great way of showing him, hey, I'll get you what you want, but not necessarily going down the path that you think we should go down to get it. And that was an important reframe of the call, if you will.
Okay. I really like that story. That was a nice little story. I'm so glad these questions bring out the stories in you. Like the one where you were talking about the sheriff pulling, literally arresting a guy while he was on the phone with himself. That was a great story. I don't even remember which episode it was. Shoot. Or else I would tell you all listening to go watch that episode if you haven't, but I don't remember. Shoot. Oh, damn it. Oh, well. But, Keith, you've been great. We're going to end off on that little story.
Oh, perfect.
We're going to call it here.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, y'all. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. And if you want a free course, we're giving them out like hotcakes. So we will put a link below. All you have to do is watch a 5-minute video or 5 minutes of the video. It's longer than 5 minutes, but and I encourage you to watch the whole thing. It would behoove you to watch the whole thing. It will absolutely help you. However, you don't have to. You buy the course with your 5 minutes of time watching the video. Then you can choose any course that you want. We'll leave that in the link below. And until next time, you guys have a good one.
Real estate isn't magic. It's a skill. And the people who win long term are the ones that keep stacking the reps. That means learning, analyzing, staying patient, and making good decisions. If you want to keep building that skill with us, make sure to subscribe and send this to someone who needs to hear it, because I know you know someone that needs to. Anyways, that's all for today. Take care.